Hello, everybody. We're back. We skipped a week, but we're back. Flyer Live podcast, postponed episode 26. I'm Josh or Jish, whatever you want to go by. That's Mitch. If you need a reintroduction, we're off for a week. You we are a golf podcast, an amateur golf podcast. And by amateur, I mean both amateur podcasters. We're new at this and not very good at it. And we talk about amateur golf, not pro golf. There is a big event going on this week, though, Mitch. The Open. You heard about it? Are you a The
I have
Open
heard.
guy or a British Open guy?
I honestly interchangeable. Everyone knows what you're talking about when you say British Open
They
or when
do.
you say the Open. Like people know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
think if people care, they are wasting their brain power.
Yep.
But we're not here to talk about that because we don't care about the pros. There's nothing going on this weekend that has anything to do with amateur golf. Those guys are way better than us. They're playing on an extremely difficult course and under extremely difficult conditions. We don't have to do that, so we don't care. We will use the pros occasionally if they can help us be better at amateur golf. But this weekend not gonna be one of those times. So, uh, anyways, back to amateur golf stuff. We are live on YouTube and Xbox. Xbox X. I got Xbox on the mind. I've been playing college football a lot. And this new game is called Rematch. It's like soccer. It's like a mix between soccer and Rocket League. Anyways, Xbox on the mind a little bit. We're live on YouTube and X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I think we're Twitter here. I forgot. I
We're still
should just
Twitter.
call it
Yeah.
Twitter.
Twitter.
YouTube and Twitter, we're live there. If you're live, feel free to chat along. Mitch, I have to get you a view of the chat. So whenever I allow you to talk again, I'll get that on the screen for you. We're live. We can see your chats. If you chat along, we'll reply. We'll answer to anything. If you want to rip us for anything, feel free to do that. If you got questions on anything, feel free to do that. If you want to tell Mitchie is an attractive human, feel free to do that too. We'll chat along. Uh, our our video on demand, our replays, also will be on YouTube and X or Twitter. So if you missed the live show, you can always check them out afterwards. Yeah, and subscribe on YouTube or follow on X, all those good things. We're trying to build a community here of amateur golfers to hang out with and chat about golf with. So, uh, intro's done. Mitch, what do you got? Hey, before we go anywhere, you're point 0.1 points away from the goal,
From True Scratch.
from true zero. How does that feel? You know what? I feel like
Dude, I'm
everybody
such a bad
hits.
golfer.
I feel like everybody hits point 0.1 before they hit zero. Anytime I see anybody talking about getting close to scratch and they have that one score that's like, baby, that's going to get me there, it gets them to point 0.1. I see it all the freaking time. Did that tilt you when you went for the update and it was like, oh my God, it's point 0.1?
Yeah, I saw it was going to be point one. I'm like, sure. Yeah, fine. That's okay. Honestly, it feels no different. I still feel like just a bad golfer. Like, I don't know who thinks scratch golfers are good at golf because we're not. Like, just not very good. We have a few good rounds, but we're not good golfers. Maybe it's just a context thing. It's definitely just a context thing. You know, if you play with a 20 handicap, they're going to watch you play and they're like, oh my God, you're so good at golf. And then you go and you play with people who are actually good at golf. And it's like, I'm not very good at this game. The Dunning Kroger of golf is, you get to this point, it's like, actually, no, I'm still pretty bad.
Yeah, that I felt that way as well. I got down as low as I have to look at the app again, but I got it down to a point 0.5 at one point last year. And yeah, it's the exact same. It's like, boy, you're good, but then it's also like I just feel like I'm ass still.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I can have streaks where I almost started my last even par round 4 under, actually almost 5 under. I lipped out a birdie putt on one, and then went birdie birdie on 2 and 3, and then almost chipped in for eagle. Like it stopped 6 inches short, and it was dead center cup from going in. So I was, a lip out and a 6 inch, little roll from being 5 under to start. It's like I can go on heaters, but then I will hit some shots on holes where it's like, do you even know how to play golf? Like this is a 20 handicap swinging in a golf club. They're just ugly, the ugliest shots that you could ever see. I think I
Yeah.
posted some today, like a Cam, I think it was Cam Smith, like duck hooked one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I know that shot very well.
Yes, you and me both. And I seem to be having a lot more of those than I'm used to recently. However, we can dive right into that if you want. I've made some changes to my bag that hopefully makes me not hit so many of those bad shots.
We should, because I am also considering some changes to my bag.
More
But
changes. I thought you were done with your changes.
no, I just want a 7 wood. I just because I want something that flies high like a 4 iron, the same distance as a 4 iron, but drops a little softer, is a little easier to hit.
Yeah.
Maybe I make similar changes to what you did, which we can talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you for wanting to. I think Coach Dan Winters talked us
He
into
convinced me.
getting more clubs and just put more on your trunk and switch them out when you need them. So I'd go with the 7 wood. I think you should get one. I've made two changes. The first change I can't remember if we talked about last time or not, because we weren't on last week, and I was testing it last week. I can't remember if I had officially made the change the last time we talked or not. But the first change is I like cut my driver in half. At least that's what it feels like. I took uh I took 3/4 of an inch off my driver. It was th 36 36 inches. I cut it down to 35.25 or 46 and cut it down to 45.25. Whatever. It was long. It was long, and I cut it down to not be so long. And immediately noticed the ball flight being straighter. I got issues with hitting the ball out of bounds, Mitch, if you didn't
No.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swing it pretty fast, so margin of error is not good for somebody that swings it fast. So if you can't control the face, you are big fucked, which I was, especially with a longer club. So I cut that down to help that and noticed it immediately. The next thing I noticed, interestingly enough, Mitch, is the club got lighter. I don't know if you know this. When you cut something off your club, the club gets lighter.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's noticeable. So I'm used to swinging this like heavy 2x4 that's super long. And now I got a short club that's like half the weight, it feels like. So the problem I ran into then is with my driver that when it was longer, I would either hit like just really nasty, nasty duck hooks because I would have to the club's super long, so I could flip it over the top pretty easily and hit it like a pretty bad duck hook, or I would just leave the face wide open and push it a million miles right. Those were my two misses. With the slider club, although the majority of the shots are going straighter, the club face control in terms of kind of what's happening with the ball flight. I no longer have the duck hooks anymore, but also I couldn't feel it as well going through the zone. So without even really being able to tell, I would hit one right and I would hit one left, and the swing would kind of feel the same. Whereas with the longer club, if it was going left or right, I could pretty much tell before I hit the ball what was going to happen. Now I can't really tell because it's too light. So to counteract that, we've got some lead tape, Mitch. Have
Mhm.
you played around with lead tape at all on your clubs?
Never, but
It
I know people have, and it's interesting. Yeah.
it works wonders. So I took 2 inches of lead tape and put it at the back of my driver, and all of a sudden I can feel the club head again,
Hey, there you
which
go.
is interesting. So I haven't brought that to the course yet. I just started doing that this week. I think I put it on Monday or Tuesday.
Mhm.
So just at the driving range, however, I've noticed again, ball flight is still much straighter. The ball is going higher and it's not going as far left and right as I had seen on the golf course. So we might be onto something here. I'm playing Sunday at a course that doesn't require too many drivers, which is unfortunate. But
Hit the driver anyway.
on the I may I'm actually gonna side note, I'm gonna be streaming that live on my Twitch channel. In case you're interested in watching live golf on Twitch over the weekend, I'll be doing that. Not even for me. I'm playing with three other people. They're every year they do a thing called Battle of the Bitches. They're all 20 plus handicaps.
Oh God, it's gonna
So
be a long day
so
for you, man.
they're just playing against each other and they talk a bunch of trash and it's very funny. They don't give stroke. They're all like there's like a 23, a 25, a 21 or so. They're around those. They don't give strokes. They have their own like sort of kind of rules where like if you hit one on hit like a white hit out of bounds white stake, they play it as red stake. So they like have their own. So it's very fun. And so I basically narrate that as a better golfer. So I kind of trash talk as well from the sidelines, but I'll also be playing. Anyways, so I'll be playing Sunday. And I think I am going to pull my driver more than I would just to see how it flies on the course.
Mhm.
A lot of holes where it's like 4 iron off the tee, 5 iron off the tee, but I think I'll hit driver a handful of times.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's that. So if I can keep the ball in play, by the way, I played a tournament at this course one time and I hit the ball out of bounds 3 times in one hole, made it 10. So
I wish I could say I haven't done the same, but I have the exact same. But yeah, go on.
uh, so that's that. So the driver, we have a new setup with the driver. We don't have a new driver. We have a new setup with the driver. The other change, Mitch, is a big one. Well, the driver is important, but the next change is big. I got new wedges, two of them. I got a new 60 degree and a new 55 degree. My wedge setup is 60, 55, 50, and then 46, whatever comes within the standard club set. I think it's 46. Um, my wedges before were single length. They were the length of a 9 iron, and I did that way back in 2019, 2018-ish. Um, when I was first like trying to figure out how to play golf, swing the golf club good, blah 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 blah. I was all single length guy because I was like one plane swing, don't have to think about where to put the ball in your stance, everything's the same. All I got to do is figure out how to hit the middle of the face with one club, and I can do with all of them. Seems brilliant, which it was. It was until you get good, and this is what I found out. Until you get pretty good, and then the actual ball flight matters for how you basically for your proximity. Like when you're trying to break 90 or even break 80, all you really have to do is kind of understand your ball flight and hope it goes like relatively straight most of the time. And then like it doesn't matter. You'll just have 30-foot putts. You'll make pars and bogeys and you'll shoot 79. When you're trying to shoot 69, that doesn't really work. You have to worry about how your ball flies, how your ball lands, how your ball spins, and then you also have to understand how that what you have to do to make the ball do things it needs to do so your proximity is better, so you have better chances to put the ball in the cup faster than you would if you were just going to shoot like 79. Which,
Mhm.
by the way, 79 is a good score, but you're talking trying to shave 10 strokes off of somebody that already hits the ball pretty good. So proximity matters, which we'll talk about eventually too. I found as I got better and stopped playing literally every single day for hours a day, that my proximity with my wedges is pretty bad. Like, really bad. Like 50 feet from like very close bad. So ditch the single lengths got standard lengths, and I've been testing them on the range for a week, and the proximity difference is wild. Like wild, wild.
Mhm.
I'm sticking stuff with the short clubs now, like kind of how you would expect somebody that's decent at golf to do with their wedges, kind of like you do with your wedges.
Mhm.
Like you have the bad one occasionally. You like maybe you flare one to like 40 feet occasionally when you're 50 yards out or something. But for the most part, like you're gonna hit good shots and give yourself good chances at rolling in putts from 15, 20 feet. I never had those chances really. On the range, we have those chances now, at least it looks like. Again, we'll find out on Sunday, but the testing I've done, I brought my other wedges with me on the range, which is you should do when you're changing clubs. Always test against your old stuff. Um, the testing is wild. I would take 5 swings with the new 60, 5 swings with the old 60, and kind of mark in my head where they're landing on the range, and like we're talking 10, 15 feet worth of proximity improvements.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a massive
yeah.
difference.
This is from like the greens that I'm working with are 100 105, 110, 115 yards away.
Mhm.
So they aren't like close, but yeah, like literally like 15 feet we're talking. So, but
So what
that's
you're
a
saying is that Bryson needs to get rid of his single length clubs and go back to a more traditional setup.
yeah. So I'm gonna put I don't like to bring the launch monitor out to the driving range. One, because it has trouble picking it up, like with the change in the sun and the clouds and being outdoors. There's just like so many different, um, like with the weather and stuff. There's so many different things I can play around with and shitty range balls. So I don't usually like to bring the launch monitor to the driving range for that reason. I am going to set it up in the golf room at the house and get official numbers on that over the next week or so, week or two. And I will be posting that. And I may just have to tag Bryson because I know what the answer is going to be. I just want to have numbers to it, just
Mhm.
to prove how drastic it is of how much closer I'm hitting the ball with a club that is a standard slightly longer than standard 60, slightly longer than standard 55 because I'm 6'3", so I need a little bit more length, or more of my back will fall apart. Um, Compared to a club that's the length of a 9 iron, slightly extended from a 9 iron.
Mhm.
It's insanity so far what I've witnessed. So, um, I just talked a lot, maybe to not even say anything other than we might be good at golf again.
We'll see. We'll see. A lot of the year ahead. Anyway, so with talking about kind of proximity,
Yes, good lead
the
in.
real thing that we're trying to talk about tonight, other than our rants, is greens in regulation and proximity and how it relates to scoring. This came back. We were going to talk about it last week because somebody was chirping me online because I hit 13 greens in regulation and I shot a 72. And he said, or a 71, 71, 72. Doesn't really matter. And he said if he doesn't shoot in the 70s when he hits 13 green, or if he doesn't shoot in the 60s when he hits 13 greens, that it's a really bad day. Like he would be disappointed.
Yeah,
And that seems ridiculous to me, um, because I obviously had to go look it up and see what tour pros are doing, right? So
correct.
tour pros average 65 to 70% greens in regulation. So it's something like 11 to 13 greens, right? And from what I could find, like the average um, score on tour is right around a 71 when they hit 12 greens in regulation. So a 71 when they hit 12 greens in regulation, a tour pro,
Mm-hmm.
like tour professional. Um, when they hit 13 greens in regulation, they shoot somewhere like 69 to 70, somewhere in there, from what I could find here. So for us, mere mortals,
Yes.
if we hit 13 greens in regulation and we score a 71 to a 73, that's pretty damn good golf.
Really good golf, yeah.
Pretty damn good golf. And what's more important, when like if I ever post and I hit 13 greens in regulation at my home course has really big greens.
Mm-hmm.
You play that. They're big greens. So you may, like, if you come and you play at my home course, you may hit a lot of greens, but you may also have a 40-foot, 50-foot, 60-foot putt. Yeah, it counts as a green in regulation, but I mean, your chances of making that birdie putt are basically zero.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I make maybe one of those every 12 rounds, 15 rounds, and it's usually just
right.
luck.
From that far away, it is 100% luck.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of skill in being able to read how the
Yeah,
line is moving, but other than
you
that,
have
it's
pace the line right, but I mean, it's still so much luck involved.
almost entirely luck from that far away. Yeah. Yeah,
Kind of crazy, right? Like
yeah.
one green in regulation for a tour pro equates to about one stroke, maybe 1.5 strokes per round.
Yeah.
Is what it saves them. One more green in regulation.
Yeah. Yes. And there was a few people in there that were like, dude, you're lying, basically. You don't do that. But yeah, the important thing you need to remember there is like scratch golfers are good ball strikers for the most part. They're not as good as pros, but a scratch golfer has a pretty good way around knowing how to control the club face enough to get the ball to go sort of kind of where they want it to go. So, like greens and regulation themselves, like you can match tour pros in that stat alone. Like that doesn't tell you anything. The real difference is the circle in which that green and regulation number, like the circle of your dispersion slash your proximity, that is what really matters. And if you were to compare you as a scratch golfer, your dispersion is probably like this on a green, and a tour pro is like that.
Yeah,
And that's
their
where the difference
is
is.
going to be half the distance of mine on
Yeah.
average, almost all the time. But I don't have the information in front of me, but I imagine scratch golfer from 100 yards, the average proximity is probably like 28 to 30 feet,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Whereas a tour pro is probably going to be around 20 feet.
Like you're probably close. I think it's probably a little farther than that.
It might be,
I
but
think pros are closer to like 25, 26. They maybe even approach 30, but like you are more than that for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So that's important to remember.
yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, when you're actually talking about scoring average, comparing a scratch to a tour pro, even if let's say pick it on days where each of them hits 13 greens, the tour pro is still going to score better because of, yes, proximity, but also the other, 5 holes that they didn't hit a green in regulation on. They're probably scrambling and getting up and down most of the time, at probably what, 50-60% of the time
Probably
they're
better, right?
scrambling
Yeah.
up and down. So yeah, 3 out of the 5 times, so they're making 2 bogeys and 3 pars in that scenario, where the scratch golfer is probably making a double and 2 bogeys and then 2 pars, probably.
Right. And then we're also just not this all of this, by the way, not even taking into account that you and I are doing all of this playing from in Minnesota in particular, playing from 6,700 yards, 6,800 yards.
Hmm.
They are doing this from 7,500 yards. They're playing it from much farther. I would argue that they're actually playing on conditions that are nicer. So I wouldn't say that the courses are harder because I think that the conditions that they play on are set up for being able to hit good shots. The fairways are perfect, the greens are perfect. The rough, unless like this weekend or whatever, like they shave the rough down. Like anybody can hit it out of the rough at pro events. Like next week, I'll be at the 3M. I'll walk through the rough. I can drop a ball in the rough and I can hit it out onto the green. Like the rough is no problem. Um, so they set up and they do that on purpose. The pros are in it as an entertainment service. So if they're just hacking it around and rolling the ball around all of it, like nobody's going to watch it on TV every week. Like it's good for the Open, it's good for the U.S. Open, like a couple other events that are maybe difficult. But if they did that all the time, nobody would watch it because it's boring.
Yeah, and those perfect conditions that we talk about, it's not so much that about the perfect conditions, the ball rolls true, all that. Like, yeah, all of that is true. But what it really does is it helps them give predictability.
Yep, for sure.
When their ball is in the fairway, they know how the ball is going to react when they strike it well. Like the ball
Yeah.
is going to do exactly what they want it to do. Whereas, I mean, you go out to some muni courses, you got patchy grass, that's not bent grass. So it's like a little bit taller. You get grass behind the ball, or you're kind of in a clump of a bare spot and a, dirt patch, something like that. And you're just not getting the same predictability with every shot that
Yep.
they do. And you've actually seen it if anyone's watched some of Bryson's YouTube videos of him trying to break the course record at a random muni. He's run into that where
Oh yeah.
it's no idea how the ball is going to react even when he's in the fairway
Yep.
because the grass is all patchy.
100%. Yep. 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 And then moving on up from the conditions on the fairway and stuff. So I think all of that makes it easier for them than us. However, the difficulty then ramps back up with where they put the pin locations. If you've ever been to a tour event, go walk around the entire course and just look where they put the pins, and then ask yourself how well you would shoot if those were the pins you had to play to. It's crazy. So we all that to say, an amateur's stats can look somewhat similar to like what a pro would do, especially an amateur that's like close to scratch. Just have to take into account the context of how that works and how that happens. Like you can hit 12 to 13 greens on average because you're a good scratch golfer with good ball striking. Pros will also do that. They have a much different set of challenges to do that than you do, especially because they're approaching the green from farther away. They have harder pin locations, all that stuff. So their challenge to do that is higher than yours. Even though you guys have the same number, it doesn't mean that you guys should be scoring the exact same. And that all comes down to proximity. They just are hitting it closer than us always and forever.
Yep, exactly.
And
And
all of that leads to so you're a scratch golfer, right? A pro golfer. A lot of them will tout like a +7, +8, +9 handicap. Like that's the 9 shot difference there is the proximity gets them 2, 3, 4 strokes better probably. And then the scrambling situation gets them another 2, 3, 4 strikes and strokes, and there's your 6 or 7, and then they're just in general better ball strikers, so that will get them another 1 or 2, and then all of a sudden they've got you by 10. So
yep, I mean, let's throw this out there. Just through a, what would it take for a scratch golfer to beat a tour pro? Just on just a random day, a random course. What would it take? So I'm just randomly thinking about it here. Because I think a scratch golfer, they would have to play their best golf. Like not
100%. Yeah.
like the best rounds that they can play, whether that's even to a 2 under round, they're gonna have to play to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tour pro is going to have one of their worst non-competitive rounds that they've played.
For sure.
So they're shooting probably somewhere from 1 under to 2 over.
Yep. So they have to overcome a scratch golfer has to overcome when they're head to head. We're just comparing like pro stats on pro golf courses playing from 7,500 yards or whatever the fuck it is, and all that stuff versus me and you playing from 6,700 yards at Summerby, who has the largest greens in the entire world. That was the comparison earlier. If you put you and just your average tour pro at Summerby, all the things you have to overcome there are they're going to fly it farther than you. So they automatically have a closer approach than you do, which means they will automatically, even if you had the same ball striking capabilities, they hit it farther than you, they will hit it closer than you because they're closer to the hole than you.
Mhm.
That's problem number one. Problem number two, if you end up flying it to the same distance or around the same distance, they're a better ball striker than you. So they're going to hit it closer than you. So they're going to have um, better and more chances to roll the ball in quicker than you will. Number
Mhm.
three, they are in all likelihood better at getting the ball closer to the hole from around the green if they miss it than you are. So you may be chipping and making a bogey here or there. They will be chipping and more than likely making a par versus a bogey. I have to overcome that as well. The last thing, um, in terms of putting, they are extremely good with speed control on the greens. Most of them, unless you're playing like a Tony Finau who doesn't know how to putt. Uh, they're extremely good with their speed control, and they like even from very long distances, it's highly unlikely they're going to three putt. Whereas you, as a scratch golfer, have a more likelihood to three putt if you have a shot from 40, 50 feet than they do. So literally from tee to green, you are at a disadvantage the whole way. Which all that to say, I agree that you as a scratch golfer just have to be perfect at everything, and they have to be really bad at everything. That's the only way it brings it back to even
Yep.
close.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Random thought experiment for the day. But anyway, so back to greens and regulation.
yeah,
Uh, there was a couple of interesting things that I found. So I was just what I was trying to find is similar to what I found with the tour pros is what's the scoring average when they shoot X number of greens in regulation.
yep.
Couldn't really find that for uh like a scratch 5 and 10, 15 handicap. I did throw a DM to Lou that I know he saw. He's not going to listen to this, but I know he saw that freaking DM. It did not respond, so I'm hoping they do it in one of their Hack It Out podcasts Saturday morning stats
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some point. So I just want to know what this is. Uh, but anyway, so what I found was a scratch golfer on average hits about 9-ish greens in regulation. A 5 handicap hits just under 7. A 10 handicap hits just under 6. And a 15 handicap hits around 4. So what we can kind of take from that is,
If you want to be a better golfer, hit the ball on the green more.
yeah, well, yeah. But as far as scoring average, so
Yes.
from a 5 to a 0, I mean, you're sitting right at somewhere around 2.5 more greens in regulation on average to lower your handicap by 5 shots. So it's roughly 2 shots for every green in regulation that you hit. That's massive. And when you start
Yeah.
thinking about when you start getting to that level of golf where you're starting to get to become a really good amateur golfer, um, is hitting a one more green means 2 less shots,
Yep.
roughly. Like it's kind of crazy when you think about it that way. Because I mean, how hard is it really to hit more greens in regulation? For a 5 handicap, it's probably more of a target location issue rather than a face control issue.
Probably.
They're
Yeah.
gonna have they're gonna have face control issues and distance control, but it's probably more of a target issue and not playing to it and being too aggressive
Hmm.
is what that mostly comes down to.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, and that's why we say green regulation is king or GIR is king. Um, it's just a direct correlation to that number going up lowers your handicap, and also you can look at that to prove how hard it is, how much harder it is to go, as we said, from like a 5 to a 0 compared to like a 15 to a 5. Because when you go from 15 to 5, you said you're going from 4 to
like 6.5. So it's
It's like 7.
two and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like 2.5 more greens in regulation from a 15 to a 5 to gain 10 shots.
Exactly. And then to gain 5, it's 2 more. So it's just the difficulty getting what, like, once you get to 5 to get to 0, like the margin for error there is just so much closer than it is when you're at a 20 or a 15. um I don't know where I was going with that, but that's just true. So but what I wanted to say is, if you're one of those 20 handicaps or the 15 handicaps, and you're just like stuck on how do I get my number to be lower than it is, assuming that you want it to be. Some people don't.
We don't need to talk about those people. No.
Assuming that you want it to be lower, you really just have to look at that level, at a 20 or a 15 or even at a 5. You really just have to look at how many times you're putting on the green, and then diagnose why you can't, or what is holding you back from doing that more often. For some people, like me, when I was getting better, what was holding me back from that is I was hitting the ball out of bounds too much, which I still have an issue with, but less of an issue. If you're losing the ball 5 or 6 times around, and you cut that down to 3, and you give yourself 3 more chances to hit the ball on the green, there's three shots easily. That lowers your handicap pretty quickly.
Right?
If it's a ball striking issue with irons or wedges, then you're talking about maybe it's equipment issue. Maybe you need lessons on balls, like how to be a better ball striker, stuff like that. If that can help you hit more greens, and that can save you a couple, then there's another couple. All to say, what you just have to diagnose what it is that's causing you to not be able to do that more often, and then fix that.
Mhm.
And then once you get to the 5, like, that's how you get to like a 5ish. Just hit more, just hit half of them, and then you're probably at a 5, as long as you can sort of kind of putt.
Yep.
And then once you're there, it's now we're talking proximity. Now you have to figure out how to start shrinking your dispersion, so that you either miss less greens, or you hit it a little bit closer to give yourself higher chances to kind of roll some more in than you would normally. And
Yeah.
then
So
that's how you shrink the game, shrink your
yeah.
scores more.
Yeah. So let's talk about, how um, you can diagnose what is wrong with your game that you're not hitting more greens in regulation. Because all too often, we as amateurs, we hear people, it's an old timey thing, drive for show, putt for dough.
Mm-hmm.
But we know it's not really true
No,
when
not
you
at all.
boil it down
No,
to the actual
it's like
stats, right?
opposite, really.
Yeah, it's drive for dough, putt for dough.
Yeah.
You need both the things. But again, it's about diagnosing why you're not hitting greens in regulation. I'll just give me for an example. Uh, Last night at league, shot a 43. It was terrible. I felt so bad about my game. Uh, but I was just sitting here counting how many greens in regulation I hit, and I hit 5 greens in regulation.
That'll do it.
The problem is I 3 putted one, and then I had like 2 or 3 really hard lip outs that just wasn't very good. But the other holes that I didn't hit the green in regulation, one it was hole 12. I hit my tee shot into a bunker, and I mean I was 200 yards out, 220 yards out from the green, but I was pressing really hard. I had a good lie, and it was in the middle of the bunker, so I hit a hybrid out, but I hit a terrible hybrid that ended up in the next bunker that's further down, just short of the green. So now I'm hitting out of that bunker, and it was up against the lip, so it was literally just punch it out and then hit onto the green, and then 2 putt from there for a double. So my score got out of whack there because I was pressing way too hard. So when you start thinking about, what went wrong on the hole, the tee shot wasn't even necessarily that bad. It's a somewhat tight hole. You can't miss the fairway right because it goes into a hazard. If you pull your ball left, you're in the trees and possibly OB. So being in the bunker is not the worst place to be. But if I would have just done something like hit a 6 iron or a 5 iron and just get it out and have a 100-yard shot in, I probably make bogey, but I probably take the double off the table.
Mm-hmm.
So like little things like that is how you start diagnosing what was it really the problem. Was it your ball striking? Yeah, I didn't hit the ball well, but I would say it was more of my decision to hit the hybrid versus another club that would just get me out there and give me an opportunity to, get on the green.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
the
that's
diagnosing doesn't have to be skill based either. That I mentioned a whole bunch of skill based things, but yeah, the decision making is a big piece of it. Some of that is what you just said, like figuring out what decisions you should make when you get into like weird squirrely places, like when you're in the trees. Everyone looks at this tiny little gap and says, "Oh yeah, baby, I'm in. I got that gap." And then they bang it off the tree and it goes backwards,
yep.
There's that, and then there's target selection both off the tee and into the greens. So off the tee, target selection is making sure that your triangular cone, like your left miss and your right miss, are both going to stay in play, and then your shots into the green, you're making sure your oval is as close to filling the entire green as possible. A lot of people like to just look at the flag and fire at the flag, and then that gets them in a lot of big trouble. So, um, yeah, it's some of it is skill, but definitely mental is worth
Yeah. And
understanding as well.
when you're talking about your cone too, um, it could have been something just as you actually did pick a good target, but when you stepped up to the ball, your alignment was off. That's happened to me all the time where I step in, I think I'm lined up right, but I'm actually aiming a little more right or a little bit more left than what I intended, and all of a sudden it's I'm missing big, and I'm like, oh god, what happened there?
Hmm.
And then somebody I'm playing with is like, well, you were lined up over there. I'm like, oh, well, that's not ideal, is it? Yeah. So stuff like that. But if it ends up being a skill issue, and if it's a 15-10 handicapper, it's probably a skill issue. Um,
Yeah.
you have to go get coaching, and you have to practice more. You have to hit the ball more. Like you have to work on your game and determine what your misses are, and then work to correct those misses. Um, and you should work with a coach. Don't try to self coach yourself and YouTube it up.
Yeah, should
I
we go on a
think
YouTube golf rant? That's been pretty popular on X
no,
the
we're
last
not
few
doing
days.
that tonight. We're not YouTube golf ranting tonight.
Okay, we won't rant about Grant. We'll leave that
We're
for
gonna
we'll leave that for X. But we
no,
can
we're just keeping this broad. We're not talking about Grant tonight. That was too much nonsense. Was it yesterday? God damn it.
we can
No,
we can yeah, it was yesterday and the
we're not.
day before a little bit. We can
Don't go
we
to
can
YouTube to
we
fix
can
your
mini
golf game.
rant
Hire a coach.
mini rant. YouTube coaches great um are not great individual one-on-one coaches.
Yes.
So if you go to a channel and it's like, I'll teach you how to play golf, and then it's like the first video there is all this edited thing, and it's got this ball that's fucking flying across the screen with pretty colors, and it's like, I'll fix your slice in three swings, or skip that video. Don't open that video. Don't watch it. Don't like it. Don't dislike it either, because dislike also helps YouTube's algorithm. Fun fact. But
Even
don't open those
if
because
you
they are not helpful.
Yeah, even if you do go to an actual channel with a real coach who is giving drills, that doesn't mean that drill is right for you. You might
Right.
not have that problem that coach is giving the drill to solve.
Yeah, that's
So
the big broad. I'll fix your here's how you fix a slice. Here's how you fix a draw. There are a million ways to fix a slice and a draw, and it's
well,
a hundred
it could come from
percent down to how you swing. So
it
yeah,
could come from so many things. It could come from the way that you're gripping the club. It could come from your alignment. It could come from
yep,
taking the club too far in, too far out, being over the top, being too late off. Like there's so many different variations to every swing that You cannot look at a YouTube video and be like, that is the drill that I need to do that's going to fix my swing, because it might, if you have the specific problem
Exactly.
of that. But if you don't have that problem, it could make things worse.
Yeah, and that's a very popular line in golf improvement is you have to get worse to get better. And we brought that up to our friend Ryan Moquet. Do I say that?
He
It's
hates
Moquet,
that so
right?
much. It's okay. You got it.
Okay, good. I in my brain I'm like I feel like we said Moquet before, and then he told us it was something else, and then now I'm gonna feel like an asshole. But I got it right, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he hated that when we brought it up when we had chatted with him a couple months ago. Um, because he is under the belief, and it's true, that if you work with somebody one on one and you diagnose an issue and give ways to fix it, there should not be going backwards. It should be basically an auto improvement because you're improving a movement to make something better than it was before. I think where that came from before is even some coaches in person, but all coaches that are YouTube coaches are just give general advice on some type of broad issue, a slice, a draw, or a duck hook, shanks, all those types of things. They just give broad advice, and then people go try things, and then those don't work, and they're like, well, I got worse. Well, yeah, because whatever they told you to try wasn't actually something that you needed to do to fix your shit.
Mhm.
So obviously you got worse because you changed something that you didn't need to change. So
Yep. That sounds right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
so
if you're getting better, stay the F away from YouTube coaching unless it's somebody that literally looked at your swing and said, I see your swing, go look at that video that I made. That's the one that's right for you.
mhm, exactly. So anyway, now that we got that part done of actually diagnosing and if it is a skill issue, go get help and you have to practice. Um, those skills that you build will ultimately help your proximity. Um, but again, it comes down to practice and doing the right drills and playing more and selecting good targets and all that fun stuff. And I was just thinking, when people go to the range and they do block practice most of the time. I actually like doing block practice sometimes when I'm just trying to feel something something in my swing is off. Kind of like I think I posted on Twitter where I was just kind of feeling off. Like I realized my transition was getting a little quick, so I did a lot of block practice where I hit a bunch of pitching wedges and 7-irons, just trying to feel like I was almost pausing before I went down to hit the ball, and all of a sudden I started striking it. So in that moment, I was just block practicing that over and over to get that feel down. But when you want to start getting better proximity, you need to start thinking about drills on the range that you can do that can help you to translate to the course.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorites for that, I don't know about you, but it's selecting different targets on the range and then alternating between them, hitting one ball, hit it to that shot or hit it to that uh, flag, post, whatever it is. Hit it there, switch clubs, switch targets, and then hit it to the next one. And going through your whole routine every single time, just like you would on the course. Because what that's going to help you do is similar to the course. You're going to have to be hitting from different yardages on every single shot. So you have to be able to change your tempo, change your swing length, change how hard you're hitting the ball to fly it the distance that you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of figure out your distance control that way, and ultimately you'll have to figure out your face control, which will help your accuracy as well. So doing those things and switching from flag to flag to flag, alternating, mixing it up and keeping yourself on your toes will help that overall.
For sure. Yep. You definitely you can and should do it both ways. That's a really good way to get in to teach your body how it's supposed to react to changing clubs all the time because you don't go 4-iron 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 putter usually. So if all you're doing on the range is 4 iron, 4 iron, 4 iron, great, you're learning how to hit a 4 iron. However, there is a mental part, and if you switch clubs frequently on the range, you will figure this out. If you hit a driver and you say, all right, here's a driver, and now I'm gonna be, I'm gonna shoot at this flag 125 yards away. It's a big change to hit a driver or two drivers or three drivers, and then put a small little wedge in your hand, and then trying to hit that right away.
Mhm.
So, it on the course you get a little more time, especially if you're walking the course or if the course is slow. You have a little more time to kind of recoup and have your body kind of forget what club you just swung last time. But it's still there, and yeah. So having the ability for your body to kind of understand what to do depending on what club is in your hand versus what club was in your hand the last time, because we're repetitive people. It goes a long ways.
Mhm.
The other thing that I like that does versus what a lot of people don't do, even though they should when they're doing block practice, is it just forces you to reset and then teach yourself how to get back into your whatever your rhythm is, whatever your pre-shot routine is. It forces you to do that every time. Um, because if you start getting on the course and then maybe you start getting frustrated with your play or anything, it's really easy to just ditch the routine if it's not something that's like something you just do without even thinking about it. So reinforcing that you just do your routine all the time, that helps when you're doing the variable practice, picking different flags and spots and things. You should do that in block practice, by the way. If you're just hitting wedges, if you're just hitting a wedge to one flag to one spot, you have your alignment stick down, all of that stuff. You should every time you hit the ball, step away, even if you don't go exactly behind the ball and line it up however you would line it up, because that's would take time. At least take a step or two back and kind of reset yourself. Maybe take like a couple swipes off the ground with the club just to kind of reset and then rethink, and then go back in to your stance and your shot and do what you need to do there. That will also help when you get onto the course, and just it's just second nature that I just have to do my routine or I'm screwed basically. So you should block practice. You should do that. People don't. People just fucking stand there and fire the ball, and they hit 100 balls in 7 minutes, and then they leave, and just sort of helpful, but not really. But yeah, I think that's more important than people think, is making your routine a second nature, so you don't have to think about it again when you're actually playing.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Absolutely.
but
That's all I got, man.
yeah,
That's it. Just do better, hit better golf shots, and
yeah,
you become better.
yeah. I think we said you're a scratch golfer now, so you're gonna teach us how to be better at being a scratch golfer. So
Nope,
basically, what we learned.
I'm still bad. My advice is to hire a coach and do better because I suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's your recap. Your recap is hire a coach and do better. My recap, based on what I heard from you, is one, hit the ball straighter. Two, hit more balls onto the green. Three, hit the ball closer to the hole. And four, roll the ball in faster. Roll the ball into the cup faster than you normally do.
Yep.
All right. Wow. We just taught everybody how to be a scratch golfer.
We just got a comment in. Just hit 5 greens in regulation. Braemar par 3. Did I do it right? Uh, yes. No. I mean, par 3. How many greens were there?
Wait, is it a 9 hole par three or an 18-hole par three?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I didn't know Braemar had
Was
a
it
par three
18?
course. Braemar has a par three?
I don't know, man. I've never played there.
Ooh, Braemar's fantastic. It's really hard to get on there though. It's public, but they're like
The Mid Am is there this year.
at Braemar,
Yeah.
they have a very cool par three. Now we're just yapping the yap, but they have a very cool par three. It's 100 depending what tees you play, I'm just gonna pick a goddamn number. It's like 190 yards, but it's like 60 out and like 120 down. It's very cool.
Oh,
You have to drive up a mountain to get to the tee box.
that's in Braemar.
Yeah, at Braemar. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty cool. 9 holes. So you have 5 greens and 9 holes. That's really not bad at all.
That's more than 50%.
Yeah.
That's solid. That's
Yeah,
good golf.
if you kick that out to 18 holes, that's 10. I mean, Noah's a good golfer. I think I know who Noah is. Noah's a good golfer, right? Aren't you, Noah? Noah's single digits. I'm pretty sure about this.
Either way, I would take
He'll answer.
5 and 9 holes. It's solid. I mean, I just did that last night and shot a 43, but that's nightmare.
Oh, Noah said he's
He's
bad.
bad. Okay, so he's a decent golfer. He's just not going to say it. Deal.
I'm pretty sure Noah's good. Maybe it's not the same person, but
what I've come to find out is
17. Well, hey, Noah, hitting 5 greens and 9 holes, that'll be a good way to drop you from a 17 to a 13.
now he's down to 13. So yeah, obviously doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do that. Hit more greens in regulation, play better golf, and don't make stupid decisions like I do.
Oh yeah, I forgot the mental part. Don't be hit it farther, hit it straighter, hit it closer, rolling more putts, and don't be an idiot. That's how you be a scratch golfer.
It's the best advice we got, man.
Yeah.
There was one time that I think this interaction was like 3 years ago with Free Willie. Will, I don't remember his last name right now. Really good golfer out of New York. He plays in like the Mid-Am out there. He's played at one pro event. He goes, but his name on Twitter is Free Willie, or his user ID is @
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah.
But anyway,
Very
it
good
was
golfer,
like 3 years ago. Had an interaction with him, and all I saw him say was, "Just hit good shots and don't hit bad ones." The simplest advice ever, but it works every time.
Yeah.
Just hit good shots.
That reminds me of the famous Dustin Johnson quote about if you want to hit a fade, just fade it.
Make sure it fades, man.
Just make sure it fades.
Do not
simple
snap that thing left.
It's a simple game, you know. Just if you don't want it to go left, just don't hit it left. If you want it to fade, just fade it. If you want it to go in, just make it, you know.
Yeah. Honestly.
All right. That, you know what? That's my problem. That's why I haven't made a hole in one yet, Mitch.
You haven't been trying to make it?
I haven't been trying hard enough to make it. So you know what,
Actually,
Mitch?
that's true. I don't think I've ever tried to make it on a par 3. I've always like picked a target and just tried to hit it there. And anytime I've gotten close, it's mostly out of luck.
Yeah. So this weekend,
I'm just gonna try to make them on every single par 3 now.
Yeah. On Sunday, I'm gonna try and make them all. So I'm definitely gonna have a hole in one by the time we talk next week.
Dude,
and if you want to watch a hole in one live on Sunday, I mentioned at the beginning. This isn't meant to be a plug to my Twitch channel, but it does end up being one of those. I'm streaming my round on Sunday on Twitch. It's mostly not for me. It's mostly me narrating for 320 plus handicaps that are playing against each other. But I'll be playing too. And if you want to see a hole in one live, I'll be doing that.
Fantastic. Anyway, we're gonna start ranting here. Wrap it up. So we should wrap it up.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully you learned something new or just got told again for the 1 millionth time on how to be a better golfer. Either way, we appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all that stuff. We're here every Thursday, mostly at 8 p.m. Central Normal Time on YouTube and Twitter. We refuse to call it X here. It is Twitter for life.
Yes.
But we are live there. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.